Hi, and welcome to a sound clip from our Bible study discussions every Tuesday night from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Pakalani. Please enjoy.
Welcome once again to another Tuesday at Bible study. We aren't going to take long. I'm not going to take long, but like how I usually like it, more talking among us than hearing from one person. So without further ado, the prodigal son, Luke chapter 15. Let's open up Luke chapter 15. This is the type of story that's really popular out of the Bible that I think even non-Christians, this is the type of stories that they would know or that they have heard of. The story of the prodigal son. And I'm just going to paraphrase the story. Feel free to read not only from the beginning of the story, but even from chapter 1, because chapter 1 doesn't start with the parable of the prodigal son. This guy is part of a family, and as a son in that house, he knows he's entitled to an inheritance. And the way things normally go is an inheritance is given to you at an appointed time, usually when the father hands it over via death, right? But this guy says, okay, I want it now. Give me my allotted portion now. And the father gives it to him. And he goes and he has a 2,000 years ago version of I blew it. Right? He blows the inheritance. He finishes it on all kinds of things that perhaps are not honorable if you read some of the things that he finished that money on. And then he comes to his senses because the money's finished, he's in hard times.
The friends are gone.
He's not eating well, he's not living well. And he remembers that his father's servants eat and live better than he is currently living. So why not go back, even in the capacity of a servant, not even a son? So we're going to pick up the story from when he comes back home and his father sees him home. And we're going to take it from verse 22. It says, "But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For the son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' So they began to celebrate." Verse 25 is where we're going to focus for tonight. "Meanwhile, the older son was in the field, and when he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The older brother became angry and refused to go in, so the father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home and you kill the fattened..." What's funny?
Oh, you guys laughing? Okay, sorry. I'm a bit childish.
You killed the fattened calf for him. "My son," the father said, "you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is found." I'm going to take a bit of a deviation from the main biblical or theological point of the story, right? But I'm one of those believers that the Word of God is dynamic, it's alive. You can't say the story means this. You can't say the story only has this lesson to offer. When I was reading or reflecting on this story, I felt confronted by a theme that I want to put on the table today. And that theme is a theme of comparison. A lot of the time, the focus is on the problem child, the one who went out and came back. That yes, There's a lesson to learn here as the kingdom. There's a lesson to learn here as people that do get lost. But I look at the son who stayed, and I often find a lot of even my human flaws in that son. And I was just reflecting and thinking, if this guy didn't have the ill feeling of comparison in his heart, I feel like he would have been more likely to respond the way his father responded. But because this comparison was more on the ill side of things, because I don't know, I also feel like comparison could also be encouraging. To say, this guy has been from tough times and he's doing better than me who's privileged. Surely I can be encouraged and do better. I mean, I think that's a healthier way of comparison. But the ill feeling, the bitter, rooted type of comparison is the one that I saw in this guy. And I feel like sometimes that's exactly what stops us from having the heart of the Father. That's exactly what stops us from living in the full potential of the moment. The full potential of the moment here was the whole estate. The father, the servants, the community is celebrating that a son has returned. So when I reflect and look at my life, how many times has comparison, especially the bitter kind, stopped me from living fully in the potential of the moment? And sometimes it may not even have been this bitter type of comparison. Perhaps it's an insecurity-based comparison, where you can even reverse it and say, man, I'm not good enough. I mean, look at how great that person is. You've already stolen potential from yourself. You've already stolen the moment from yourself. You've stolen, probably, dare I say, even what God would like you to do or how God would like you to respond in those types of moments. Because your eyes are looking to the left and to the right based on comparison. So comparison, I believe, is something that robbed the son. Because if comparison wasn't in the picture, especially the bitter type which he was displaying, I think he would have responded the way his father responded. And I was reading through the story again and I'm realizing that he was even the older son. And that also hit me. That this guy was even older than this guy. I mean, come on, your little brother has come back. That's one side of the story. The other side of the story is you should be older and mature enough to have the heart and the mind of the Father. But it just shows you that if you keep an ill feeling or an ill habit or an insecurity like comparison in your heart, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how far you go in life, you will still keep robbing yourself of potential. I believe the Bible agrees with this kind of a message in other words. I mean, comparison is the diplomatic term I'm using. Covetousness? Coveting?
Oh, coveting.
Yeah. That's actually even point blank mentioned as a sin. Alright? I'm not trying to put this guy in court, but I could even say maybe he was coveting this fattened calf. Give me a goat. He gives this guy a calf. I also want a calf. You know what I mean? That's a version of coveting. So this message confronted me, and like I said, especially since there are theologians that will say I'm preaching, I'm not interpreting the Bible properly. That's not what the story means. Quite frankly, I'm sorry, but the message is still true. When we look to the left and the right and we don't focus on what or how God would want us to respond to situations, especially when our little brother is doing well, especially when our little brother has been given grace that we didn't even try and explore. We are harming ourselves, we're harming our potential, and we're not being in alignment with the will of the Father. So that's all I have for today. Let's discuss this issue. What does comparison mean to you? What does comparison feel like to you? Let's talk practical terms in terms of some of the things that we were facing in our lives as young adults and as youth. Let's talk in terms of spiritually. Hey, the kingdom work, the gifts of the Spirit. What does comparison look like? From a bitterness point of view, from an insecurity point of view. In my opinion, both those point of views are robbing the potential of the moment, the potential of the future. Next week, on the basis of this, we're going to discuss now a hot topic. And that's the topic of mind. Let's open the Bible and say, what does the Bible say about the mind? Right? You see how it?
He says that.
What does the Bible say about money? Let's unpack it, because it's not a coincidence. I mean, it's not a coincidence that I'm pairing the two messages, because comparison also now plays and messes with our minds when it comes to this issue of money. And I think it's very, very important to come and zone in and say, God, what is your outlook on money? The spectrum is big. The pastors like to camp, you know? But there's also so many other things that are said about money. Like those that don't work shouldn't eat. Right? So that's it for today. But let's talk about comparison only, please. Maybe I made a mistake to talk about money.
Because we'll start discussing it now.
But let me not police the discussion. If we go that route today, it's fine. We will still open the Bible about money next week. Alright?
Thank you for taking your time to listen in. Feel free to add your thoughts in the comment section or join us in person if and when you can. May God bless you.